How you doing, folks? Welcome to my game replays. What we got on the table currently is ASL Starter Kit number 1. Once again, if you remember the last episode, we were playing scenario number 2, War of the Rats, and we played that through to completion. And very fun. I love that east front action. This time we're going to go to the western front, 1944. So we're talking late war here. This ought to be interesting. Germans are the defenders, attackers are the Americans. And this uses both map boards from the starter kit number 1, Y and Z. And only half of the boards, though. We're only using, from here on down, both map boards. So it's a little bit bigger than the previous scenario. Well, twice as bigger, actually. And, yeah, there's a lot more units. I think there's, well, let's take a look and see what we got. Americans get 14 666 units and an Elite 337 flamethrower. The Germans, of course, have about a dozen units, 447 and 436s. Yeah, some leaders and some heavy weapons. So it's quite a few additional troops this time around, especially for the Americans. And there's the turn limit. Germans set up first. Again, they are the defender. American go first. And we're not going to use any of the balance rules, of course. We're just going to jump right into this. I'll be relearning it once again. I think it's been over a month since I played the last scenario. But here it is, ASL Scenario S3, Simple Equation. Aachen, Germany, 12 October 1944. The battle for the city of Aachen had been raging since October 10th. A complicated series of maneuvers designed to encircle the city from both the north and the south had been occupying the attention of the American command. These few units committed to the frontal assault of Aachen had some tough going, indeed. Not only were the Aachen defenders numerically superior, but they were fighting on their home soil for one of their most cherished Nazi symbols. Aachen, home of the First Reich. So that's the scenario. And scenario 4 is a quick look at the next scenario we'll be playing, but we'll save that for the next one. So let's take a quick look at the map and the objectives and what we're going to be doing here. Now, taking a look at the map here, victory conditions. Now, well, first of all, look at deployment. The Germans will be deploying first, and of course I haven't set anything up yet, but everything on this map from 2 or less, so K2, L2, M2, on down to K1, L1, M1, etc. In other words, this part of board Y and all the way down through here on board Z. So this whole area is where the Germans can defend, and they set up first. And the Americans will be deploying, I can't remember what the number is, let me see here. Set up on board Y and hexes numbered 7 or greater. So these, basically from here on back that direction will be the American deployment. Everything deploys, there's no reinforcements in this scenario. So once I set it all up, you're going to see where things are. Now, the objectives are pretty important here. And basically, the Americans gain a... they win immediately if they control 25 or more building hexes on map Z. And each of these are buildings, stone buildings, in fact. So 25 of these hexes, and there's a lot of them. There's about 50 plus hexes on here, I'm sure, just on this board. These won't count on board Y, just the ones on board Z. So the Germans got to protect these buildings, and the Americans have to capture 25 hexes worth of these buildings. So that is going to be a tough challenge for the Americans, I think. And like I said, there's at least a dozen German units, 447s and 436s. They got 3 leaders. Well, once again, let's take a look so you guys can see what it is. And they do have a flamethrower, the Americans. 2 medium machine guns, which will come in handy. Germans got 3 LMGs. That's not enough if you ask me. But they do get a heavy machine gun, so really important where I place that. Command isn't spectacular for the Germans. 7-0, 2 7-0s. But there's enough of them, so we'll see if that's going to work out. So 1, 2, 3, 4 commanders in all. They got about a dozen units. And the Americans only have, let's see, they got about 4 leaders and 15 plus units. Well, 15 units plus heavy weapons. Should be interesting. I think I'm going to enjoy this. Been hankering for some Western Front action, actually. So this is the scenario. Simple equation. And I don't know how simple it is, but it sure will be interesting. And yeah, so I'm going to set this up, and we'll jump into it. And again, this will be like a refresher scenario for me. And for you guys that follow my battle reports, especially the squad leader ones, it'll probably be a refresher for you guys too. And as always, if I miss anything, folks, feel free to leave a comment in there and let me know. Very simple rules, although it is easy to forget something or miss something. So yeah, it does happen. But I hope you enjoy, folks. This should be interesting. And yeah, pretty excited to get back into it again. Haven't played in a while. So let's look forward to this, folks, and jump into simple equation. Next up will be the deployment, and then I'll go through my strategies and tactics I'm going to try and stick to throughout the battle and see how well that works in the game. And we'll fight this out to its bitter conclusion. We'll see if the Americans can capture Aachen. Stay tuned, folks. Hang in there. It's only going to get better. Take care.